Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod called Vehicle Global Strength, Weight, Size, and Other Values Edit. Works for mods. It has a really weird name, but it does so much. I don't even know how to really describe this mod in one single sentence besides you can completely break the game in the best ways possible. So the way this mod works is first you get a vehicle, any vehicle, including modded vehicles as the title tells you. So let's say we wanted to mess around with a Sunburst and we're going to get the police version because we hate the police. Then we're going to go to the parts menu and we're going to go to license plate design. And I know this sounds really weird. Why is the mod under license plate? The idea is most vehicles, including modded vehicles, have a license plate. So if the vehicle has a license plate, it should support this mod. So you go to license plate design and you pick Agent Y car values scale mod. And then once you select that, if you go to tuning, you have a ton of brand new sliders that can completely break the game. For this video, we're going to focus on just the deformation resistance sliders, and then in future videos we'll take a look at the other sliders as well. So with the deformation resistance slider, you can do some ridiculous stuff. So if we bring this slider all the way down to 0.01, it makes it where the car is basically made out of wet paper. Now, this thing is so fragile, just sitting on the ground blows out the suspension. If you try to drive forward, the wheels just come off because every part of the drivetrain of the vehicle is, again, about as strong as a hot stick of butter. If you try to use the node grabber on the vehicle and pick it up, the whole vehicle bends, because there is no strength at all in this vehicle. It's the exact opposite of the Indestructible Vehicles mod I did a while ago, where this one makes everything, let's say, hyper destructible. So I think the best way to really test this out is to have a collision. So we're gonna grab a pretty lightweight vehicle. We're gonna go with the Pickle. We'll get the 150 Corsa, and then also we'll tune up the Pickle a little bit as well. So we're gonna once again go to the license plate, add the Agent Y car values scale mod, and then we're gonna go to tuning, and we're gonna do the exact opposite. We're gonna get the deformation resistance scale up and maximize it. So this is similar to the Indestructible Vehicles, but it is a little bit different, because on this one, all it does is it makes everything really strong. It does not make it where the connection between parts is really strong. So if we get into an impact like so, the parts will fall off, but the structure of the vehicle will stay strong. So you see it bounces right off, doesn't look deformed at all, but a couple of parts have fallen off just like if it was a normal impact. Drivability should still be great after something like that, though. Let's see. Yep, we can drive great, which means this should be great to slam into the car that's just sitting over there. Now I want to go nice and fast, so I'll back it up to here, save the spot, and then we're going to get a new Pickle, but this one is not going to be indestructible. This is just an ordinary Pickle, because I want you to see how strong an ordinary vehicle looks when it smashes into a vehicle like this. So here we go. We're going about 65 miles per hour. We got the slow-mo going. We're going to use 16 times slow-mo because this car is going to crumple below the mighty Pickle. So it has just been completely demolished from the impact. You can't even tell it was a car at this point in time. Let's see. Can we get the Pickle out of here? Yes, we can. So you look at the damage to the Pickle. Yeah, it's dented, but it's just dented. We can still drive even perfectly fine. That tire you see that's a little glitched out, that's just the spare tire. Regular drivability of the Pickle is decent. It is pulling to the side, but it's decent. Now, as for the Sunburst, that is a completely different story. Again, it doesn't even look like a car. It's been so utterly demolished, and that's just from a simple 60 mile per hour impact, which most modern cars should be able to stand up to and keep the occupant safe. But when you make a car out of cooked spaghetti, that ain't gonna happen. So let's try something else. We're gonna make the car very, very fragile, but strong enough to drive. So we're going to take the deformation resistance and bring it up to 0.1 instead of 0.01. So I guess technically this would be 10 times stronger. But even then, I'm pretty sure it'll be weak enough where if we do aggressive driving maneuvers, it can blow out the suspension. So let's see if we do a little drift maneuver like this and sliding back and forth. And yeah, steering is shot after doing that. You can see the front wheel, I am trying to go to the right side, and that wheel is doing absolutely nothing as I go from left to right. This wheel, also doing nothing. So we're going to have to drive very, very carefully, but it is drivable. But I bet even really hard braking will cause the vehicle to fall apart. So we're going to test that real quickly from a highway speed, braking hard, and yeah, it broke. Again, I'm trying to steer we ain't steering. Just hard braking is enough to ruin the vehicle. So we need to be super careful. We can brake normally, we can steer normally, we just can't do it hard. So we're going very carefully around the pickle using like 30% of the braking capabilities of the vehicle to make sure it doesn't fall apart, and that worked great. Now let's go ahead and do a little maneuver. Yep, we're in the air and it has crumpled so surprisingly fast. Normally, yeah, that would damage a vehicle's suspension, but it wouldn't normally cave the roof in like that one did. That was so interesting to me though. I want to do it one more time, but with a bigger jump. So if we go straight ahead from here, we can go about 70 to 80 miles per hour and then hit this guy for a really big jump. And we got some slow-mo. See, just getting into the air is enough to really destroy the vehicle up. And then landing it, well then it's demolished. I think somehow it can still put the power down a little bit, but it's not going to drive well. Yeah, we can do a little bit of driving, but it's a pitiful amount. One more test with this car. We're going to see what does it look like when you crash into a solid object at highway speeds. So I'm thinking, even though we're going about 70 miles per hour, this will basically look like a 200 mile per hour impact. So 78 miles per hour, and yep, that looks like a brutal slope kind of impact where the whole front of the car just caves in at 200, 300 miles per hour, something ridiculous like that. But we were barely moving at all. We were just going normal highway speeds to cause ridiculous damage. Okay, here's another dumb idea. If we can brake so hard we destroy a vehicle, can we accelerate so hard we can destroy a vehicle? To test this out, we're going to get a drag car, and then we're going to give it the structural strength of a sock. So we're going to go to license plate, change that out. And one thing I noticed is some vehicles need different values to get the same results. So for example, on this one, if we bring it down to 0.1, just like we were using on the Sunburst, and then try to drive it very, very gently, it still immediately falls apart. So on this one, to get the results we were looking for, we probably have to bring it up to like 0.3 or so, because I want it to be able to be driven around normally, but if you floor it, it falls apart. So let's see, 0.3 driving around normally? Yeah, that seems to work. We can drive this thing no problem. Now the question is if we floor it, does it fall apart? So here we go, flooring it hard, and yep, rear drive shaft has broken because we accelerated too hard. That is amazing. Since we're not really driving around because the cars fall apart in 2 seconds, I'm going to switch maps just to get a new backdrop. So we're going to head over to West Coast, USA. And then also we get access to a really long straightaway so we can do really high speed crashes on really fragile vehicles that should not be fragile. And also, I like saying really right now, I guess. Well, all of these are to the extremes. They are really. So the first vehicle I want to crash into is going to be a T-Series. We're going to get the T75 dump bed upfit. He's normally so big and so strong, but not for long. I'll make sure he's perfectly lined up with the road. That looks good to me. We'll give him the correct license plate, and then we'll go to the tuning menu, and we're going to make him as weak as he can possibly be. And just doing that, did you see the deformation there? Here it is again with some slow motion this time. And just look at how the truck suffers under its own weight. It's just so heavy, it falls apart. That is amazing. So we're going to crash into this, and I want a decently fast but relatively lightweight car. So we're going to use the Voss S410Q Arsenic. That seems perfect for the situation. And we want to go about 100 miles per hour, so let's just drive away. And just for fun, let's go this way. We get a little bit of an uphill. Maybe we'll go a little bit faster because we got the downhill coming back. So there's 100 miles per hour. Time for a 180 maneuver. Perfect. Save the spot. And then we are off. And we should be going 110, 120 miles per hour with this little bit of downhill help. Here we are downhill. Give me that speed. 110. And then almost, there it is, 120. And here comes the impact just right into the side of the truck. And we just drove through the truck basically. It literally broke it in half. That is amazing. If we're breaking things in half, you know what else we need to break in half? We need to break a bus in half. That's what we need to do. But first, one more test with the T-Series. I want to do a head-on collision. So we're going to just use the node grabber and try to align him in this direction. Oh, that is weird. It literally just bends the truck. It's going to move like a snake, basically. It's going to slither to the orientation that I want. Look, it's going to go slithering left to right, trying to like straighten it out. And I think that'll get it pointed in the right direction. I really don't know. It's such a mangled mess already. That looks pretty good. It's kind of underground, but that's fine. I don't really care that much if it's underground or not, because it shouldn't make that big of a difference. And now, head-on collision once more with the Vivas S410Q Arsenic, aka the car whose name is too dang long. Alright, slow motion coming. 8 times slow-mo, 16 times slow-mo, and here's the hit. The hit! Look at that T-Series just crumpling under the power of a regular old Vivas. Yeah, the Vivas does get hurt in the process, but the T-Series is on fire. The Vivas wins. Alright, now, Vivas, let's see if we can back you out of here. Can you back up? The engine's off. Hold on. The engine is dead, excuse me. Can we pull it off? Come on, Vivas, get off of there. Get. Alright, so the damage there is some damage for sure. But the damage there, that's a lot worse. Everything's mangled and everything's on fire. So Vivas, you can go back up here, and then T-Series, you can become a Wentworth DT40L, and we'll get the Hero because why not? The Hero looks cool. It's got the rocket thrusters on it and stuff, and we totally need those to move our vehicle 90 degrees in a different direction, like so. Perfect. Now, for the license plate, we'll grab the Agent Y, whatever, that's too much to read, and then go to the tuning menu and say deformation minimized. And we are going to just plow right through him with the same Vivas we used earlier because it seemed to work great for a T-Series, so it should work great for a bus. All that's important is that it's an average, ordinary vehicle that can go decently fast. Looks like we're going to be going about 120 miles per hour. Here we go, right into the center, and the bus is folding like a sheet of paper. So effortless. I could do this by hand. That is crazy. Like, I am enveloped by the bus, and I've actually kind of made it through the bus, although of course that's not technically what's happening because pieces have just vanished for no reason. Do we have some drivability left even? Yeah, we can put down power, but we are stuck inside of the bus, and the front of the bus and the rear of the bus are pointing in the same direction. Isn't that nifty? Alright, next thing I want to do is I want to crash the bus into a car with the bus mostly working. So that means we're going to go to the parts menu and we're going to put the deformation resistance as low as we can go. So let's try 0.1. Can we drive like that? Trying to accelerate, and nothing's happening. So I think the drive shaft just immediately exploded or something like that. So we will go ahead and increase it to 0.2. And we'll see, can we drive with 0.2? It looks like we can. Excellent. So to maximize the speed, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Vivas and bring him way down the highway to right about here. That should be good. And then we can tell the AI to chase me once I'm lined up, because I got to finish this alignment, which is very much easier than it would normally be because I have rockets equipped. Actually, the rockets did absolutely nothing for this kind of situation, but when we get ready to go in a straight line, we'll appreciate it. Unfortunately, the steering has broken, so I'm just going to manually yank this thing and then reset it. Because we can steer, but we can't do any sort of big steering, it seems like. We are very, very close to just braking immediately. So the AI should be chasing me, and we're going to go towards them. And I'm being a little bit careful with how I put down the power because I don't want my bus to shatter immediately the second I accelerate. So we are going 150-ish miles per hour, and the impact is coming, and I'm going to do some manual camera work here so we can really admire what's happening. So first, the initial impact. The bus is winning with momentum, but the car is holding up just as well as the bus, and the initial impact is over, and now it just is going to roll past us. Look at that bus go. What a bus. It looks like it's just popping a wheelie, except the whole front is broken. You know what's kind of interesting is you can like bend the bus into a 90-degree angle and probably still drive it with this mod. That's going to be the next thing we try. But first, look, we can still accelerate until we hit electricity pole, and then we have made ball of bus. All right, how damaged is the car? Obviously, the bus completely ruined, but the car also completely ruined. It's hard to tell because there's just bus everywhere, but the car did not fare all that well. So now let's go back to my big idea I had a minute ago, where I want to make a 90-degree bus. So to do that, we're going to lock the front into position so we can rotate everything around that point. So we're going to push the middle towards, whoops, we didn't grab that right. Push the middle towards this way to kind of start getting an angle on it. That's good. And then we're going to grab it from the rear and pull the rear towards the front. But first, we got to get this cape out of the way. Cape, get out of here. So we're going to grab it by the rear. That's not a good piece. That's actually probably not going either because that's the engine. There's a good spot. So then we just kind of rotate it towards the front, and it is bending. Oh my goodness. That's a 90-degree bus. That is a 90-degree bus, and I think it should still drive a bit. We're going to accelerate real careful, not using the thrusters. Yep, it can put down power. This bus can put down power. Just seeing this puts a smile on my face, because this is stupid. And honestly, how could you do this without the mod? I don't know if the node grabber would have been strong enough. There's no way you could have done it that easily, that's for sure. It really is a thing of beauty, although it's kind of stopped working. I don't know if the wheels lost traction or what, so I'm just kind of yanking the nodes around, seeing if that'll fix it. I don't know what happened. It didn't say any message like the engine broke, but maybe just something with the engine broke or the wheels can't get traction, can't quite tell. We can kind of move around with the thruster still. Alright, so obviously that works. Now here's the opposite idea. We're going to straighten the bus out and then make it drive normally again. This is probably not going to work out. Yeah, front right axle broken, but the bus is straight, and look at it go! It can go. It was a little bit straighter before it hit the wall, but that was great. Oh, the drive shaft has broken. But what an amazing job this bus did. Everybody got a clap for that, because that was impressive. It's just a shame it couldn't last forever. Alright, I think that's enough of that, but just for fun, let's reverse things up to finish off this video. Instead of having it be very, very fragile, it's going to be the unstoppable, unbreakable, rocket-powered bus. So here you go. We're just going to floor it, go in a straight line, and we're going to see what happens. I'm not even going to bother to try to steer when we get to the corners. We're just going to ride the walls, or whatever happens, happens. So there's 160 miles per hour trying to go around this corner. Excellent cornering. Yep, this is great. Look at how strong it is until the rockets flew off and we can no longer do anything. But still, it's holding its shape. Yes, some of the front did get mangled, but that was like a 200 mile per hour crash. Otherwise, though, very, very much in shape. And I think that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, I'm sure there'll be a part 2 that goes over the other sliders in the future. Although I will admit, those ones aren't quite as fun as this one. This one's the most fun. But until next time, this has been WhyBeAre. And remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by how much the cars deform. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time.